So I'm still trying to finish up my 2019 watches so I can make a proper year-end list. So I got to sit down and watch the Laplace's Demon, which is a film that was recommended to me by Brandon from the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, which if you're not listening to, you absolutely need to. It is my personal favorite podcast. I've promoted them enough on here, so we'll move on from that. But I listened to their year-end show. This sounds more like a promotion again, but it has a purpose to it. And all four of the guys that were on there put this in their top list of the year. And I was like, okay, man, I got to get on this damn thing. And man, am I glad I did. Now, before you go and jump onto the movie because I gave it a rave review, let me tell you, it isn't for everybody. So it's black and white. It's in Italian. It's a slower burn, and it plays out very much like a Twilight Zone episode. So the scientists are taking a boat over to this island where they're supposed to meet with somebody, and they're trying to come up with like this equation so that they can solve this riddle of like predicting the future events. One of the things in particular is they're trying to calculate how many pieces of glass a cup will break into if it was dropped, so that they can account for all the variables, whether it be the wind or the resistance of this or that, or the ground and this and that. And when they get there to this place, they find out that somebody has solved this problem, this equation, whatever it is, and they can predict future events. And now they're trying to escape their fate. This is a fucking fantastic film, I think. I loved this movie. It is pretty damn low budget, but the style is amazing. The story, the script for me was fantastic. The way there's just a lot of imagination on screen. This kind of reminds me of a much higher concept, like Saw. Or Jigsaw's character, he always seems to be able to predict human behavior and what people will and will not do. He always is trying to be wrong, so this is different in that it was where this guy has predicted every single move anyone's going to make. But the way that it's presented, to take this and make it some 1940s, 1950s looking movie in black and white, and the imagery that's used without the lighting, it really all just worked for me so damn well. I can't recommend it high enough to people who love the Twilight Zone, or a movie called The Similars that came out pretty recently in the last few years. I want to say like 2015. If you haven't seen that movie, if you're a big Twilight Zone fan, I absolutely recommend that one as well. But if you have seen that, then you understand what I'm getting at. This is a really cool flick, and I hope that it isn't overlooked, because I'd never heard of it had these guys not brought it up to me. Yes, I'm sure there's people who will find it pretentious or boring or a piece of shit or what, but those always exist. I loved it, and I want this thing watched by everyone who this sounds enticing to. So get on there and watch it. It was on Prime, but it is not any longer. So it's $2.99. Absolutely worth it, in my opinion. Will definitely make my top of the year for horror. And don't want you guys to think there's a demon in it, because there isn't. So let's get that out of the way. The equation itself is referred to as the demon, and they explain it in the movie really well. But there is no demons. It's not a monster movie, so I think people will think that this is some kind of, H.P. Lovecraft kind of thing with the black and white and all that. That's what I was expecting. So, but it isn't that, and I will be curious on what you guys think. So please let me know if you've seen it. Please let me know if you watch it, and I'll See you in the comments. Adios.